There are hundreds of sought-after physiques in media, both fictional and non-fictional. Some come from the world of capes and crusaders, some from an understanding of beauty and art, and some are from a land of dragons and monsters. But there are also physiques told in tales that are not often sought after, physiques that are not admired for their beauty and aestheticism, but feared for their aura of aggression. One such physique that I'm sure many of you have noticed, but very few of you have admired, is the physique of an orc. Specifically, Saruman's fighting Uruk-hai. Personally, I'm one of the pansies who's more interested in a balanced and flowing physique, but for the specimens out there who'd like nothing better than to have the brutish physique of one of the White Wizard's perfect warriors, I present to you the Orc Physique program. This program is built mainly for early intermediate lifters who have built a muscular base and are hungry for a certain type of physique. Although if you're more advanced, you should have the necessary programming skills to modify it. If you don't want to look pretty and perfect, and instead want to look rugged, stocky and grizzled, then this program is for you. This program is a full body split, which will focus on different parts of the body on different days, but whilst keeping a high frequency overall, 3 times a week for most muscles. Before I reveal the program, I think it's best to go over what I've identified as the strong points and weak points in an Uruk-hai's physique, as well as the muscles that are developed but don't necessarily stand out too much, so that you can see why and how I've prioritized these muscles. First of all, the strong points as I see them are the neck, traps, upper back and legs. Their weak points are their lats and shoulders, and the muscles that are well developed but not overpowering are the arms, chest and core. The specific and varied development of these muscles are what makes the Uruk-hai so intimidating and formidable. They're dense and heavy meatballs, so if you really want to replicate this look, I'd also recommend a higher body fat level, as it will contribute to the look. You could think also of a rugby player, so go ahead and enter bear mode if you wish. With all that out of the way, let's begin. The first workout has a focus on the quads, hamstrings and traps. The first exercise is hamstring curls for 3 sets of 8 to 12, followed by weighted calf raises for 3 sets of 8 to 12. It might seem strange at first to begin with these 2 exercises, but we do have some squats coming up later, and I find that they warm up your legs very well. They're also a very low intensity exercise, so you can push to failure and there really won't be any systemic fatigue. After that we've got weighted calf raises, because the orcs definitely don't have sticks for calves. They're not the most important muscle, but they're definitely important for this physique. I also find they're another great warm up for squats, and they're a bit of a mobility hack as well. If you're doing weighted calf raises very deep, they'll be stretching your ankles and your calves out, which is a big limiter for a lot of people when they're doing squats. After that we're going into the main heavy exercises, so starting with back squats. You can do 3 to 4 sets of 4 to 6. 4 sets if you're a little bit more advanced and you can handle it. Following that up, you can never go wrong with the RDL for 3 sets of 6 to 10. I find that's a very great rep range for that exercise. You could also do them paused at the bottom if you wish, but we will be doing a variation later that has a pause at the bottom. Hint, hint. You could also do trap bar deadlifts. That was originally the exercise that I had in there. It just won't be as good for the hypertrophy of your hamstrings, lower back and glutes, but it definitely does have the aura of an orc. So if you want to do it, do it. After that is weighted dips. Like I said, the chest, shoulders and triceps are really not the most important muscles for this physique, but that doesn't mean we're going to neglect them completely. So 3 sets of 5 to 8, or you could also do 3 sets of 6 to 10. They're both great rep ranges for this exercise in my opinion. It just depends on what you prefer. Do you prefer more volume or do you prefer more intensity? After that we've got power shrugs. They obviously have to be power shrugs because of the aggression. 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12. There is a lot of trap work in this program, so I'd recommend starting off with 3 sets, and if you find that you can handle the volume, then go ahead and do 4 sets. After that the intensity is going down a little bit. Neck curls and extensions. You can superset them together, but make sure not to neglect your neck exercises, because this is probably the most important muscle group for the orc physique. So 3 sets of 10 to 15, I find that's the best rep ranges for neck exercises. And finally we have weighted crunches for 3 sets of 8 to 12. Any crunch variation of your choice. You can do a machine crunch, you can do weighted sit-ups, you can do GHD sit-ups, something that has good progression potential. So after a day's rest, we could say that the first workout was on Monday. The next workout will be on Wednesday, which has more of a focus on the back and the arms. So starting off with weighted pull-ups for 3 sets of 6 to 10. Alternately, you could do seal rows if you want more upper back, but the lats are not targeted too much directly in this program, but we definitely don't want to ignore them completely. You want to superset that with face pulls to get more mid-back, rear delts and side delts. Again, shoulders are not the most important thing for this physique, but we definitely don't want to ignore them. After that we have barbell curls for 3 sets of 6 to 10, self-explanatory, followed by tricep pushdowns for 3 sets of 8 to 12. You can superset these together if you want. You could do easy bar curls, you can do straight bar curls, just make sure it's a standing barbell curl. Tricep pushdowns, you can use a straight bar, you can use a V-bar, you could even use bands if you want. After that we have cable rows for 3 sets of 8 to 12, more upper back, rear delts, very important for this physique. Not necessarily the rear delts too much, but the upper back, and a good amount of lats as well. That's followed up by close grip bench for 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 10. If you can handle 4 sets, go with 4 sets. If you prefer 3 sets, go with 3 sets. You could also do a wider grip to target the chest more, but the chest just really isn't very important for this physique. We don't see the orc's torso very much at all, but personally I just can't see the orcs as having too much chest. It does contribute to the aesthetics of a physique. The most aesthetic physiques all have very good chests. You just don't think of it as being an aesthetic muscle. I just don't see orcs as having watermelon pecs. That's followed up by windshield wipers for 3 sets of 10 to 15. This is a very difficult core exercise, so if you can't do this, you could do Russian twists, but like I said, this program's mainly targeted towards early intermediate, mid-intermediate lifters, so you should have some decent core strength by then. After that we have neck side raises for 3 sets of 10 to 20. I've put 10 to 20 because they do seem to be a little more taxing on the neck, which is also why I haven't put the frequency very high. They're only in here once in the 3 days. This is because the side of the neck will actually also receive some stimulation from the curls and extensions that you do. If you feel like you can add more side raises in, go ahead and add 1 set to the Monday and 1 set to the Friday and work up from there. Following that we've got neck curls and extensions, which are the real meaty parts of the neck that you can build in my opinion. 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15. Start with 2 sets. If you can handle it, go to 3 sets. That's followed up by leg extensions just to give the quads a little bit more stimulus. The final workout of this program is probably the most difficult one because you should have 2 days rest before your next workout. Starting off with hanging leg raises, 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12. Again, it might seem like a bit of a strange exercise to have at the start, but the intensity is not very high. And I do find that putting a lighter exercise that's not too intense before your main lifts can really help to get you amped for your actual main compound lifts. That's followed up by stiff leg deadlifts for 3 sets of 6 to 10. Like I said, very mentally taxing lift. You want to really be in the zone before you start doing your stiff leg deadlifts. If you want more hamstrings, then go ahead and push your hips back and keep your legs very straight, not locked out, almost. If you want more glutes, then go ahead and bend your knees a little bit. If you kind of want both and you can handle it, keep your legs straight, push your hips back, and you'll find that your hamstrings should give out first. And when they do, bend your knees a little bit and continue the set until you can no longer do that. After that we've got leg press for 3 sets of 6 to 10. Again, another very mentally taxing exercise. I've put these after the stiff leg deadlifts because I find personally that after I push to failure on the leg press, not that you have to push to failure, when I'm doing any form of stiff leg deadlifts or RDLs, my knees just cannot keep straight and they wobble all over the place. If that's you, do your leg press after the stiff leg deadlifts. That's followed up by hyperextensions to stimulate the erectors, glutes and hamstrings even more. 3 sets of 8 to 12. Your lower back will have had a break while you were doing the leg press, and you should be noticing that the intensity is lowering a little bit. So you've got the hardest part of the workout done, you just have to get through the rest. Obviously still maintaining focus because the rest of the workout might be a little bit less intense, but it's still just as important. That's followed up by upright rows, 3 sets of 10 to 15. We want more traps, so focus on really shrugging up with these, and we're also hitting the shoulders as well. Like I've said earlier, not neglecting the shoulders completely, but they're just not important for this physique. After that is 2 sets of 10 to 15 Kelso shrugs. We're keeping the elbows a little bit more fresh because there is some arm work coming up, but we're just trying to get as much upper back volume in as we can. If you do it in a smart way, you can hit your upper back very frequently with good and effective volume. That's followed up by a single set of rope pushdowns and fat grip curls or hammer curls, whichever you prefer. If you want more brachioradialis, go with the hammer curls. If you want more forearms in general, go with the fat grip curls. This is just to warm up the joints because we have some arm exercises coming up that are slightly more intense on the joints. And I find that most people definitely benefit from doing a push down and an easier curl before they do these next exercises. Speaking of the next exercise, that's skull crushers for 3 sets of 8 to 12. You can do them with an easy bar, you can do them with dumbbells, you can do them with a straight bar. It really doesn't matter. Just do your skull crushers. That's followed up by or supersetted with dumbbell or incline curls. I'd prefer incline curls, but you can also do dumbbell if you just don't agree with incline curls. A lot of people get some shoulder issues with them, as well as bicep tendon issues. If that's you, go ahead and do dumbbell curls. You can do them supinated completely, or you can do them twisting. After that, we have our calf raise variation. That's paused weighted calf raises. You need to be weighting your calf raises because you need to be able to progressively overload them. We're pausing at the bottom of the range of motion in the stretch. It's just like pausing your bench press or your squat. And then finally, we're finishing it off with neck curls and extensions. I've put them at the end because we're keeping the habit of doing your neck work at the end of a day of training. If you're running this Uruk-Physique program and you're skipping the neck work, I don't know what to tell you. If that is you, go ahead and put it at the start. With all that being said, that's the end of the program and the end of the video. If you're going to run the program, if you liked this video, or if you have anything you'd like to discuss or any feedback, then let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, more to come.